Hey everybody, hope you guys are doing well. I finally got the Racetrack Diorama done. I don't know if you guys forgot about it, but it's been a little while. But I ended up finishing it yesterday. Quite happy with the way it turned out. I do get some realistic angles on here. I did go with the very short static grass. The rumble tie that I did here, I made out of air dry clay. Then I painted it with a primer, and then I went on top of it with acrylic. Did some washes on it to give it some weathered look. I painted all the edges black. For the asphalt, which I'll get some closer views, I did plaster mixed with ballast for railroad track, which that is kind of like a plastic material, that ballast is. So it does not bond to the plaster, so when it dries you can sand it, and it's really hard to sand. And then when you do a wash on it, it'll actually give it a gravel look, so then it looks like asphalt. But then I did a couple different types of washes on it. And I also did some painting on it to make it look like a track. Now tracks usually don't have a whole lot of painting, but they usually have the white on the lines. And so this is actually representing maybe it was the turn. It kind of went like this, and it's just a chunk out of the earth. So here you can see some of the actual pebbles in it, the ballast, I should say. So you do have some of the ballast showing through, and by sanding it, it gives it the asphalt look. Here are some of the washes. I try to do some different areas. Maybe move the cars out. You know, doing the plaster, you are going to have some imperfection in it, and that is fine, because in asphalt you're going to have some imperfections in it. Unless it's a brand spanking new racetrack, it's going to have problems in it. That's just part of racing. So this one has like a little dimple right here that actually was a problem when making it, so I made that into like a pothole, and then in here was a little bit of an imperfection, so I figured I'd do that with an ink wash instead of acrylic wash, or acrylic and alcohol. And so I did those areas with the ink, and the ink is very strong, so it don't really wash away. It'll actually bond real quick. And then I did it with an alcohol wash over the entire thing, and then I did areas where I thought it would need more wash. I doubled up, and then I did some brown washes in it, and then I hit it in some spots with a little bit more of the ink wash. And then I painted underneath the static grass. I did that in a brown, and that just gives it an earth tone, because you're going to see through some of that grass. The grass ain't 100% coverage, and you really don't want it to be. You want to see some of the dirt. And I did some of the ballast. Did some ballast on both sides, and I glued that down with some tacky glue. And then once that cured, then I also went and did it with the watered down Mod Podge. I dripped some on that to make sure it has a good bond. The static grass, I used a tacky glue to hold that down, and then I used my 2mm or 1mm, I can't remember what length static grass that is, but I used that in that place. The base construction is a foam block. I used a hot wire to cut the shape. I didn't want it to be a flat track. The track that I have around my house is not flat at all. There's a lot of inclines and some nice downhill sloping turns, and so I kind of really like that style racetrack, so I wanted to do that with this. So then I curved it all down with the hot wire. Once I got the shape relatively to what I wanted, I did the cheesecloth with the plaster already built in it. It's a plaster cloth. I wrapped that entire thing with that, let that cure, wet it down, put some plaster down to smooth it. Then I created my plaster mixed with ballast, and I wet that. You gotta wet it down if it's dry, then apply that. If you apply it when it's dry, it's going to flake off. You gotta make sure the base is wet. So wet that down. Try to get that as smooth as possible. If you do not get that as smooth as possible, it's going to be a really long time to sand. It's going to be a real pain. Once you get that sand, it's not going to be perfect. And then you want to make sure you don't have it perfect, because if you're not doing something brand new, you're going to want to put in areas like I did here, which is just plain plaster. That's going to be like your patches. So that actually going to show that as areas that they did some modifying to, or patched some potholes to. So if I move up here, so you can see this area has none of the ballast look into it, so it's like a fresh patch. And what I probably should do is take some wash and go over that again to bring that out of the older asphalt, as what my story will go, and same over here. But I don't know, maybe I'll let it sit for a little while and think about it before I do that. But I have this so it actually works with multiple scales. These are 1/32 scale, so that would be like that, and you can move them around. If it was nice outside, I'd go outside, take some pictures, and show you guys what it would look like outside. I think I could get some really cool pictures doing it that way. So we'll use this current project that I have going on, the Aston Healy. Or no, this is the Triumph. We'll use this one as a example. Now this is 1/24 scale, when the other one was 1/32 scale. And I can get some pretty cool pictures on that. Oh. So could even move that out there, have them coming out, taking a long turn out. But if I was outside and I had a natural background, I almost could probably trick some people into believing it. And it don't always have to be downhill. We can also take pictures of it as uphill. So having that angle will actually help me get some some cooler pictures. Have some angles that you normally won't see a model in any other time, and I can do that with this base. So, but just a little update on this. I have not stopped working on it. The paint actually cured. I wet sanded it, gave it about 2 other coats, wet sanded it again, put the decals on, and then finally put some bare metal foil on the decals and gave it a nice coat of clear. I'll have to wet sand it. The only thing I don't like is where the decals are actually going together there. I can get over, I guess. I was thinking about just taking it and actually painting it, but I think the next time, besides this time that you guys are going to see it, it's going to actually be done for a final video on that. But I'll give you a little taste of it here. The tonneau cover, I think I'm going to keep black. I think all the rubber parts I'm going to keep black. I just don't want it to be flaking apart. And I think everything is done. It just needs to be assembled. But then there's that. The video I had just the other day on the 62 Impala, that was going to be my next build. I'm pushing that back. I'm actually going to, me and my dad are actually going to build the same model kit. And sometime down the line, we are going to do a father-son build, where I build mine and then he builds his, and then we'll put them next to each other and have them in a video. I'll still do updates in my video. I might do an update with his car, depending on how things go. But that one is going to be delayed. I do have plenty of kits where I'm going to pick one to build next. The problem is what one to build. I have so many kits that I don't know which one I'm going to go to next. I am pretty excited. One of the kits I have not been able to get a hold of, and I didn't think it was going to be a problem getting a hold of it. Like I was saying, batteries just died. I was pretty excited. I did purchase a kit that I did not think I would be able to get in a very long time. I didn't at first think I was going to have problems getting it, but now, after a certain point in time, I couldn't get this kit anymore, and I've seen it anywhere up to $100, $200. Well, now it's back out. It has not came yet. I did order it the other day. It is the, what is it? That's well, anyhow, it's a Porsche 911 GT3R. And it's one of the Japanese brands. I can't think of it off the top of my head. I think it's Fujium or Fuji. I've seen it go for quite a lot of money, and now it's back. I have seen it out quite a few times, or since I saw it the one place and ordered it, I've seen it at a few places. And I do have decals for it to build it in 3 different teams that I actually was big fans of back in the day, and so I end up ordering 3 of them. It shipped right away. It is coming from Japan, so I am hoping before my Thanksgiving break is over that them kits will arrive. Now, I'm not going to hold my breath, because that might change at any time, but that might be my next kit I'll build. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this little shop update, as I am showing you my Racetrack Diorama base. So hopefully you guys are staying safe. It's getting wild out there. And until next time, I'll talk to you then. Bye.